All right. Good morning. I'd like to call the meeting of the Human Services to order. Please call the roll.
Acting Chair Swarzy.
Here.
Member Chaplin.
Here.
Member Childress. Member Dessart.
Here.
Member Evans.
Here.
Member LaPlante.
Okay. You have a quorum. Is there any public comment?
No public comment.
Well, I'd just like to welcome everyone to 2023. I hope everyone had a nice holiday and a happy New Year's Eve. And I hope everyone is looking forward to a wonderful 2023. I know I certainly am. I'd like to welcome our guest members today, which is a member Cahill, member Galassi, member Gustin are here, and of course, and member Yu, who was here last meeting, and member Garcia, who's here every meeting. So thank you for being here. I did want to point out that we're going to be voting today on ratification of an emergency procurement of $79,800 that I signed off on 12/19. It was money to quickly provide assistance to approximately 24 households replaced by the West Chicago apartment fire back last month. The assistance will be provided through the Outreach Community Service, which has established a social service presence in the apartment complex. This money is coming from the Community Services Block Grant Disaster Assistance funding, and this allowed, we did the emergency procurements to allow these people to have places to stay before we could have this meeting. So thank you to Mary and Gina and certainly all the DuPage County staff that helped with this. So. Any comments from any members today? Okay, seeing none, I need a motion to approve the approval of last month's meeting minutes. Motion in a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. We have a length of service award to Flora Spencer Turkios. Did I pronounce that right?
Oh, come on, Flora.
So Mary, go ahead.
So these are always fun to do for you new members. This is something that we do when employees reach a milestone anniversary, and in Flora's case, it's her 10-year anniversary. I also always appreciate when their coworkers join them for the recognition. I think it's a really nice acknowledgement of sort of the team atmosphere that exists in the housing supports and self-sufficiency. So Joan Fox is our administrator of housing supports and self-sufficiency, so I'm going to let her take it away and say all the lovely things about Flora.
And there's many, many, many lovely things we can say about Flora. You guys are lucky to have her. We're lucky to have her on our team. Just want to give you a little context for Flora's role. She started actually working under Gina in information and referral.
Where everyone starts.
It's the gateway.
It's the gateway.
Feel a lot of help from her. And then she started working for my unit doing homelessness prevention. But really quickly, we could see that Flora really wanted to dive in deep with the household she served, and she's always been providing such great advocacy. They kind of talked Flora into becoming a family self-sufficiency case manager, and she's been in that role probably for the majority of her time here. Family self-sufficiency is a program that we have here at the county. It provides a partnership program with the DuPage Housing Authority, and it provides assistance to families for up to 5 years. We have comprehensive case management where every person has a case manager who can guide them to have goals to increase their income, further their education, improve their family functioning, and meet their personal goals. And Flora has shined in this position. We've had over 600 graduates from the program. 95 of those graduates became homeowners, and a lot of those homeowners belong to Flora as well. So she's a case manager who supports and cares for all of the participants that she serves. She really brings her full self to this role. She's had a number of case managed cases who have won the Family of Distinction Award through IGOP. And I think one of the best quotes was from somebody who said that Flora is like a mother to her. And I thought that was really important because that person was a refugee. She had a lot of information, lots of struggles, and she really relied on Flora to provide that caring and support. As a team, you can tell Like Flora is well loved, and that's because she cares for each one of us. She always comes to work professional with a smile. She provides us with food and other types of nourishment, emotional nurturing, and everything that we need. If there's a perfect person in the world, they look just like Flora.
Say a few words.
Happy New Year to everyone. What I wanted to say is I really thank all of you guys because it wasn't because of you and the guidance that you have given me all these years. I don't think I would do it today. I thank you so much, as you can see. From the bottom of my heart, I'm out of work right now.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Let's wait, let's get, Chair Borgi up here.
And Mortimer. Let's get our award in there.
Oh,
That came up.
Can we get our
Carrie, do
committee
you
on
want
here?
We can,
Liz, the floor for you that are on the committee.
wherever you would be best positioned, it would be wonderful.
As little movement as I have to do.
And yeah, let's keep Mary,
Let's just,
stationary.
yeah, work around me.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, move on in, and if everybody could smile, 1, 2, 3, and then I'm gonna take another. 1, 2, 3, perfect. Thank you very much.
Lisa, thank you for.
And I just want to say thank you so much.
yes, congratulations. Congratulations.
I think everybody on this committee is, we realize how important this committee is, and it's very, very important to us because it's, you know, it's so needed for our community. So to have someone working here for 10 years and obviously be so well thought of by their peers and their staff,
We give them a hard time.
really, really thank you very much for your service, and I hope you're here. I hope we get to celebrate your 20th.
You're all welcome to stay.
All right.
Bye,
Thanks,
thank you.
everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On to community services. I need a motion and a second to approve item FIR 2323, a resolution acceptance and appropriation of
So moved.
income eligible retrofits program grant fiscal year 23 in the amount of $986,850. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. The motion and a second to approve FIR 2423, resolution acceptance and appropriation of the Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity Services Block Grant Program Year 23 in the amount of $1,115,200. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. I need a motion and a second to approve item HSP 2223, ratification of the emergency contract issued to Outreach Community Services to provide disaster relief to the West Chicago fire victims needing rent and security deposit assistance through the Community Services Block Grant Intergovernmental Agreement in the amount of $79,800. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Just a comment. Well, thanks so much for your work on this, ladies. It's very important. And I think this just highlights the importance of the county to continue to receive this community service block grant money. And I don't know, you know, so much is done with this money. And I know, Mary, we talked about it in the last community development meeting, but I think it would be great if we had a presentation done maybe before all the board members about all the good work that is done with this community development block grant money and why it's so important that we continue to make sure that we do our recipients of these funds. It's just, I mean, this was so devastating, and I'm sure this money is really helping us folks.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Just important that we could, you know, continue to get this money in.
Thank you.
Yeah, we'll be happy to put a presentation together either for human services or
Yeah.
for finance, however, you know, at whatever committee level, we'd be happy to talk about CSPG.
We'll chat about that. Thank you. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Motion passes.
Can I just make a comment on
Sure.
these upcoming ones? So all of these other contracts that you'll see in the remainder of this section are all sort of our regular contracts with community services block grant provider agencies. And so to Member Chaplin's point, this really sort of highlights many of the types of programs we fund under CSBG.
Thank you very much. Need a motion and a second to approve HSP 2323, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to enter into a sub-grantee agreement with Outreach Community Services to provide case management, counseling, job skill training and experience, work readiness training, and GED assistance to low-income youth residing in DuPage County under the Community Services Block Grant for the period of January 1st, 23 through December 31st of 23, in the total amount of $100,000. We have a motion, a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Need a motion and a second to approve HSP 2423, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to enter into a sub-grantee contract with Home DuPage Inc. to provide financial counseling and workshops to low-income residents of DuPage County. This contract covers a period of January 1st, 23 to December 31st, 23 for the contract total amount not to exceed $46,888. We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve item HSP 2523, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to enter into a sub-grantee agreement with 360 Youth Services to provide case management, housing, job coaching preparedness, transportation, educational services, and GED coaching to homeless youth in DuPage County under the Community Services Block Grant for the period of January 23 through December 31st of 23, for a total not to exceed $55,242. We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve item HSP 2623, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to enter into a sub-grantee agreement with Catholic Charities to provide shelter, case management, and financial assistance to the situationally homeless residents and at risk of homeless residents of DuPage County, and to provide financial support for the back to school fair for the period of January 1st, 23 through December 31st, 23. The total amount not to exceed $65,000. We have a motion, a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve HSP 2923, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order to enter into a sub-grantee contract with Teen Parent Connectioning through the fiscal year 23 Community Services Block Grant for the purchase of car seats, booster seats, and safety training for low-income county residents in the amount of $30,000 for the period of January 1st, 23 through December 31st of 23. We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. On to Community Development Commission. I need a motion and a second to approve item HSR 2523. This is a resolution recommendation for approval of a second modification to Community Development Block Grant Agreement with the DuPage Care Center, water heater, and south wing windows, increasing the funding by $400,297 for a total award amount of $1,200,297. And this will be contingent upon approval of the CDC Executive Committee. And we have a motion, a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. Need a motion to approve HSR 2623, a resolution recommendation for approval of a second modification to Community Development Block Grant Agreement with the DuPage Care Center Air Handling Units, reducing the funding by $341,158 for a total award amount of $658,842, also contingent upon approval of the CDC Executive Committee. We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments?
I have a question.
Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to know why there was a reduction of like 341.
Did it come under budget? Yeah. It was a previous grant to the care center. That project came under budget, and so they requested if they could use that underage onto a new project, and that's what those two pieces are.
Member Guston?
I'm assuming these are two different funds, the CDBG and then the CSBG, or are they all one?
So
Do you guys break them
It's an
out, or do
important
you keep
distinction.
them all at one?
no, so these for the care center are CDBG, the Community Development Block Grant.
And what's the number on that the county gets?
In a typical year, we get about $3.8 million in CDBG funds.
Okay.
The one on the previous page, the CSBG, Community Services Block Grant. So the primary difference between those two, a couple differences between those two. CDBG comes from HUD.
Right.
We're a direct entitlement community from HUD, so we get those funds directly. CSBG, the Community Services Block Grant Program, is a federal allocation that comes to the state of Illinois. And then we, as the designated community action agency for DuPage County, receive those funds through the state. CSBG can only be used, can't be used for any capital improvements. It's used for, we use a significant portion of it for our own staff, our 211 call center, our information referral, and some of our case management unit are funded through CSBG. And then we fund a number of public service agencies. But CSBG is primarily used for salaries for staff, either internally or with our external partners. CDBG, Community Development Block Grant, is primarily used for capital improvements.
And the dollar figure on the SBG,
CSBG 1.1, right? Yeah, that was on the first page. The acceptance and appropriation this year is $1,115,000.
okay, thank you.
Who determines that amount?
It's both done, it's done by formula. So our CDBG allocation is formula from the federal government. So whatever the feds allocate for that program, as an entitlement community, we get a percentage based on the formula. The CDBG formula is based a lot on income levels, housing stock, number of homes built before the 1940s. It's a very complicated system. CSBG is based strictly on level of poverty. Is strictly on poverty. But in both cases, it's formula funding. So we don't really control how much we get. It's just whatever that top line federal number is going to determine how much we get.
Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion passes. And you'll have to forgive me, which item was that? I lost track.
We're on number 9 now.
Or, okay, moving to number 9. I couldn't remember if I finished A or B on that one, so. Thank you. On to DuPage Care Center. I need a motion to approve item HSP 2723, a recommendation for the approval of a purchase order to Advocare Systems for rental of medical equipment beds for the DuPage Care Center for the period March 1st, 2023 through February 29th, 2024, for a contract total amount not to exceed $96,000. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. I need a motion to approve change order HHSP 04368-21, amendment to resolution HHSP 043621, issued to Cimbria Rehab Inc. for Community Wellness Partner for the Wellness Center for Staffing and Management for Outpatient Center at the DuPage Care Center for a period of November 30th, 2021 through November 30th, 2022 to increase encumbrance in the amount of $4,051.47, a 6.23% increase. We have a motion, a second. Questions or comments?
Yeah, my only question is, it appears I have a different, do I have a different agenda? Because the medical equipment came first to my agenda, and then the staffing came second to my agenda. Yeah, mine, actually.
You know what,
Did I mess up?
no,
Mine's
well,
a final.
I'm using the one that they
Mine's a final.
emailed me last week, so I don't know if this changed or not.
This one that you just read was under my number 1. Okay, good, I'm not the only one.
Okay, no, I'm
Okay,
thinking the
good.
same
Phew.
thing.
I'm like, am I like so
I
long?
gotta start switching. Okay, so,
I'm
so.
sorry, it doesn't matter, I guess, but still, I'm
Did we,
like.
Paul, is there any, no, as long as we, okay.
Okay,
All right, so,
there was motion and a second.
motion and a
on
second.
Item 1.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And then we've already done item 2, so now we're moving on to item 3. Music
And make
therapy.
sure it's the same one. Okay, this one does that, so,
Just wanted
okay.
to straighten it.
And then a motion to approve item HSP 2823, a recommendation for the approval of a contract purchase order
So
to
moved.
Music Speaks LLC for music therapy for the DuPage Care Center for the period of January 12th, 23 through January 11th, 24, for a contract total not to exceed $55,000. We have a motion, a second. Any questions or comments? Yes.
Curious, what kind of music therapy is this?
Ms.
Hi,
Chadwick.
Janelle
speaking.
Chadwick, for those I haven't met. The music therapists come in with a multitude of different musical instruments. So it's pretty remarkable to see, but yes, it's very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Hi.
Opposed? Thank you. I need a motion to approve item 2023-6, a recommendation for the approval of a contract with Carevoyant Inc. for CV hosting for large database for the DuPage Care Center medical records for the period of May 1st, 2023 through April 30th, 2024 for the total contract amount not to exceed $18,000. And we will take a roll call for this one, please. We have a motion.
You want, do you want comments?
Oh, questions.
You know,
comments.
just to
Yes,
clean
yes.
this up for county board, in the packet, after page 662, the next pages are named. 663, 664, 665 is actually 9A. So this is mislabeled in the board packet. Just to clean that up for county board, so we go by the, the right rules. And not on the agenda, in the packet, it's all
yeah.
messed up and misnumbered, and not labeled, and
It's in the packet.
yes, and it should be more clear, the full packet, yep.
We'll
Okay,
clean that
I'll
up.
look
for
into-
county
I'll look
board.
into
Thank
it.
you, thank you. Yes,
Yep.
yes, good. Thank you for bringing that up. Did we get a second on this?
Yes,
Yes.
you did.
Okay, motion a second. Any other questions or comments?
I just wanted to ask a question. What is this large database for? What kind?
So Carevoyant was our primary vendor for our medical records, our electronic medical health records, and we switched to a new vendor. We're very pleased. We have a very efficient, much more efficient for the staff, easy to use. It's called Point Click Care, but we still have all of our data that we're required to have in transition. So this Carevoyant is our prior database.
Okay, so is the data in two different places?
It is in some ways old data up to a certain point, and then new data would be in the new system.
Okay, so the new system can't take the data from the old one, and that's
Not,
all very expensive, I know.
yes, that's what we've been really working with. The prior vendor has some challenges with that
Sure. Okay,
transition.
thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much. Clerk, please call the roll.
Member Chaplin,
Aye.
member Desart,
Aye.
member Evans,
Aye.
acting chair Swarzy.
Aye. Thank you. I need a motion on budget transfer A to transfer funds to create a line under the ARPA 2 grant to allow for COVID-related machinery and equipment rentals at the DuPage Care Center. Fiscal year 22, we have a motion, a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Any motion passes, and that was for $750, by the way. I need a motion to approve budget transfer B to transfer funds to create a line under the ARPA 2 grant to allow for machinery and equipment purchases at the DuPage Care Center for $25,000. Motion and second. Questions, comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. Motion to approve budget transfer C to transfer funds to create a line under ARPA 2 grant to allow for equipment and machinery purchases at DuPage Care Center for $75,000. Motion and second. Questions or comments? Yes.
So I just noticed that this is just to create a line under the ARPA 2 grant, but so this one is for machinery and equipment purchases, and it's pretty much the same thing, so it doesn't really say the difference besides the fact that this one's 25 and the other one's for 75K. So I just wanted to know what the difference was.
Two different budget years,
Two different budget.
FY22 and
FY23, got it, thank you.
Thank you. Good question. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. And finally, under budget transfers D to transfer funds to create a line under the ARPA 2 grant to allow for COVID-related machinery equipment rentals to DuPage Care Center fiscal year 23 in the amount of $2,000. We have a motion and a second. Questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you very much. On to item number 11, I need a motion for authorization for overnight travel for the Community Services Director to attend the Legislative Conference and Board of Directors meetings of the National Association for County, Community, and Economic Development and the National Association of Counties, and meetings of NACO's Housing Task Force in Washington, D.C. from February 9th, 2023 through February 14th, 2023. Expenses to include registration, transportation, lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diems in the amount of $2,854.50. This is CDBG grant funded. We have a motion, a second. Questions, comments? Member Desart.
How did you know?
I can see out of the corner of my eye.
Like, right now, these housekeeping things that I'm mentioning, this happens to be on page 674. and it's not labeled correctly. So these housekeeping things I am mentioning, I would have brought up during the business hours and called somebody about it, but yesterday was a holiday, so I didn't have the opportunity.
Okay, okay.
So please note that it's not labeled correctly.
Thank you very much. Any other questions or comments? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Nay. So for informational, I need a motion that we receive these and put them on file.
So moved.
Item A, grant proposal notifications, GPN 003-23, Community Services Block Grant Fiscal Year 23, Illinois Department of Commerce and Economic Opportunity, U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, the amount of $1,115,200, and the authorization for overnight travel, weatherization coordinator supervisor to attend the mandatory WHAP soft skills training in Springfield, Illinois from February 1st, 2023 through February 2nd, 2023. Expenses to include lodging, miscellaneous expenses, and per diems in the amount of $338. We have a motion and a second.
Oh, second. I thought it was.
Yes.
You already had a motion in second, right?
I made the motion.
Yeah.
Motion, okay, motion and a second.
I didn't
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, thank you. Residency waivers, Janelle, nothing, okay. Would you like to update us on the DuPage Care Center,
Sure.
please?
We currently have one unit that's on quarantine due to a potential staff exposure. There are no positive residents, and our COVID unit has finally calmed down. It was pretty busy over the last few weeks. So it's ready for use if we need it. We hope we don't, but it's currently empty. The other thing I wanted to talk before I move on, any COVID questions? No? I sent this out. I don't know who had an opportunity to look at it. It's regarding the funding overview of the care center and how we are funded. And the reason why, there's two reasons why I bring this to you. One is just so you're understanding as we talk about things in the future. But two, there's some pressing issues that have come up related to our Medicaid funding that I will likely need to put forth a resolution in the coming weeks. And so if you've had an opportunity to look at it, basically what it means is Medicaid rate reform happened. It really benefits facilities in Illinois. It provides a higher per diem or a per daily rate, just as an overall. And there are a lot of other aspects related to the performance of a facility under the 5-star rating model. One of them is staffing. And because we are a 5-star staffed home with our RNs, then we get a set fee or a set amount of money on a quarterly basis. Because we have our high quality indicators, meaning all of the things that we submit to Medicare or to Medicaid based on our residents, their specific acuity of care, any type of illness. We submit that, and based on that, our quality measures are very high. And because of that, we get approximately $160,000 a quarter. So it's really changing the way we're funded, and it's a lot of it's performance based, and some of it is just finally giving all facilities a higher rate that has been much needed over many, many years. So Illinois has done a really great thing for the care center. With that, there will be a challenge in our private pay rate versus our Medicaid rate. So our Medicaid rate went up significantly, and our private pay rate cannot be lower than our Medicaid rate. So we're going to have to look at what we submit to as a private pay rate, which has gone to this committee and through the county board. We're working with our legal team on what that's exactly going to look like, but this is more in preparation for that discussion. So it's a good thing. It could potentially mean $4 to $5 more million annually for the care center. So it's significant. So we got to figure out how to do it the right way and how that rate looks. Yes.
With the Medicaid portion versus the private pay rate, obviously Medicaid has a certain criteria by which somebody can qualify for it, no assets, things like that. But if the private rate is going to go up, and there are seniors that don't qualify for Medicaid because they live in their home and they try to pay their taxes and everything else, but they're still at a lower income level, but they don't qualify for Medicaid. Can we definitely be more conscious when we're talking about the private rate portion of it? Because that's where they would fall under, right? And see if we don't want to increase that so much that we put them out without having good care. or getting
That
good
we
coverage?
don't differentiate. For one, the care provided is exactly the same. The staff don't know this person's private pay or this person's Medicaid because the care is the same. Everything we deliver is exactly the same. There is no differentiation. The people that are on private pay would not be ever discharged. They're in spend down status. So
Right.
we have 16 private pay people that are in a spend down status that they're going to convert to Medicaid when their
Right.
money runs out.
Right,
So it's that safety net that the county provides.
okay.
So regardless what happens with the private pay rate, those same people will still convert to Medicaid.
At the end of it.
Correct.
Because they have to spend down.
Correct.
Okay,
Correct. But if we don't do something, we're leaving. So what happens right now, and this was a change in 2017, Medicaid pays the MCOs, which are insurance companies that HFS is asked to manage this program. So the insurance company is going to get paid $422. And if we don't alter our rate, we're going to get paid $359.
Mhm.
And that $70 difference, the insurance companies get to keep.
Yeah.
And we're not going to leave that on the table for them. I don't think anybody here wants us to do that. So we just got to figure out and how we do that. And we're working with that legal team. It's not an uncommon process. It's just hard to explain. There's so much complexity to get everyone to understand what the private pay rate means in comparison.
okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I just, Janelle and I had a long conversation about this and we have how many residents
16 that are private pay.
and how many total residents?
Right now, we're right around 220.
Okay, so it's a very small portion and I don't want to discount because, you know, everybody is, you know, has their own financial situation, whatever that may be. And I know there's some ways we can work into without maybe raising their fee or
Right.
getting refunds
Right, you
back to
bill at
them.
the higher rate, there's a
something.
contractual markdown, so
But-
the private pay people would still be the 359. But that language on how we put it in a resolution is where I'm getting it from our legal.
And I'm assuming then Medicaid, if we don't increase that private pay rate, Medicaid is gonna pay us a smaller portion.
They're gonna pay the MCOs the big fat
I know,
amount, and
yeah.
the MCOs are gonna pay us smaller,
Smaller
and they're
amount.
gonna keep those millions of
It's
dollars.
leaving about $5 million to the insurance companies if we don't
Adjust it.
figure out how to adjust the private rate for these 16 individuals. So.
Gotcha.
So that's why I was trying to kind of give you the basics, because some of this is becoming very complex.
And this will have to come to the county board
Correct.
at some point. So even though you're not on this committee, or I don't know who's going to be on this committee starting next meeting, but this will come to us as a whole. So thank you very much.
Yep, you bet. Thank you.
Community services update, Mary Keating.
Thank you. Just two things I wanted to highlight. First, today at 11 o'clock, the Community Development Commission Executive Committee will be meeting. All county board members are members of the entire CDC. So whether or not you are a member of the executive committee, you're welcome to attend that 11 o'clock meeting. It's a particularly good meeting this month because there are two major plans that we're presenting for board approval. Just a little bit of background, the Community Development Commission is comprised of 50% county board members and 50% municipal members. They're the advisory group that helps the county board determine how to spend those HUD dollars, the CDBG dollars, and the home affordable housing dollars, and the emergency solutions grant dollars. So if you're available at 11 o'clock, I would welcome you all to attend CDC. And then I just wanted to mention that at the end of this month, on January 25th, will be the Homeless Continuum of Care annual, it's called the Point in Time Count. It's a nighttime count of unsheltered homeless individuals in DuPage County. Volunteer teams go out and scour locations throughout the county to identify individuals who are unsheltered. It's a tremendous effort that volunteers throughout the continuum of care work on. We used to do it biannually. We're now doing it on an annual basis. If it happens from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. It's mandated by HUD that it be the last week in January. I don't know why, but I think maybe the idea is that anyone who is unsheltered the last week of January most likely has absolutely no other options. If you're interested in volunteering, let me know. They are still looking for 2 or 3 people to volunteer. What is entailed with volunteering? If you've never done it before, you would be paired with an individual who is an experienced team member. He would go out, identify individuals, try to make a determination if they're willing to talk to you or not. There's certainly no confrontation or anything like that. It's just, you see if the individual wants to talk. If they do, gather some basic information about that. And if you don't, just leave them be. So if you're interested in volunteering or you want more information, you can reach out to me. I'll get you in touch with Lisa Snyder.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any questions or comments for Mary? Okay, seeing none, do we have any old business? Seeing none, do we have any new business? With that, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I'll second it. And all in favor, say aye. Thank you, guys.
I am gonna move.